Hi, Esties. We are back for another episode of Esthetician Edit. And today is like a full circle moment. We have Barbie Zarraga from Browaholics Cosmetics. And we actually pulled out her, I guess this was like an interview you did
Yeah.
in 2019. And I'm just going to read like a little section, guys, because this topic today is all about like how to take brows from a hobby to a brow empire, and she's done just that. At this time when we interviewed her, she says, I'm currently located in a small studio in which I only have 2 chairs and a couple of cabinets. And now she was just telling me she has like a team of 7,
I
a
know.
whole
It's
brow
crazy.
studio. So I guess if you don't mind just like introducing yourself and how you got started with brows, and then we'll kind of go into like your transition.
Perfect. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Sam. I'm so excited because, again, to me, when I got this invitation, I was like, again, oh my God, I can't believe it. Because back in the day, we didn't have podcasts. So I think this is a great platform, what you guys have here. But yeah, I'm Barbie Zarraga. I've been doing brows for over 10 years. I would say 15. I lose track, honestly. I started when I was 17, and since then I haven't looked back. I honestly love it. And the fact that you're reading that, and now I have like all these achievements that I have accomplished is just, it's crazy. Because sometimes you work so hard every day and you forget to look back and see what you have accomplished, right?
Yeah.
So when you brought this magazine, I was like, oh my God, how crazy is that? You totally forgot about that.
Did you know from the beginning, like at that place, did you know at the time that you wanted to have a whole like studio with people working for you?
At the very beginning, when I started doing eyebrows, I had no idea what I was pursuing. Like I feel like that was just a job that was presented to me, and I didn't understand the possibilities or the growth that I could, have by pursuing doing eyebrows, right? But then after I moved to a suite, like I was a business owner, then I started to understand like, wow, I have something in my hands. Like, like I can make this something big. So I started doing classes. I was building my clientele, and I noticed that I had these high volume, like clientele, like all these people, they wanted to come see me, and I had a wait list and all this stuff. And I'm like, what is this? Like I didn't know anyone in my circle or even locally that was experiencing that. Maybe there was, but personally didn't know that. Also, back in the day, like social media was more for like personal stuff. We were starting to see like the beginning of promoting your brand on social media. So it was fairly new. So it's not like I was like on people's business to compare myself to like other benchmarks, right? But then definitely when I was there and I was seeing that after hiring somebody else to do eyebrows with me, then I saw that we had more than doing eyebrows. I was just building a bigger concept than that. So I definitely wanted to leverage on that and make sure that I, attacked every single angle of my business to cater something to somebody.
Yeah. How do you feel like your brand has evolved from the beginning? Is it kind of the same, like you have the same mission, or has it evolved over time?
So I always compare my brand to having a baby, right? Especially after being a mom, you start to notice that your brand, it's like literally your baby. It's like you go through the pregnancy stage, which is when the idea lives in your head. It's not a reality yet. And then after you give birth, you have to name this baby and kind of like set up the personality for this baby. And then the baby will tell you, hey mom, yeah, thank you for like throwing all these like hints of the personality that you want me to have, but I want to be my own person and become this. So it's like, I feel like at first you have a lot of attachment to your brand, and then eventually you just have to let it be, but like also being the mom that guides that kid, if that makes sense. So I feel like, when I started having my brand, it was a lot like that. I wanted to reflect, like project myself in every single like thing on the branding, but then as I was evolving, I noticed that my brand also needed to evolved. But it started to form or adapt into its own person, if that makes sense. So it's been a beautiful journey. I love the branding aspect of the business. I feel like it's so interesting and so fun to build. But after you have it like set, I mean, your business is just gonna take off.
Yeah. And so were you booked pretty like fast, or what was the beginning process like?
No, definitely it was very slow. if you're in that stage, you have to be very patient because it's not easy, especially nowadays that I feel like, you have to market yourself even more than when I started doing eyebrows. But I feel like you can't take for granted the word of mouth, right? Like, if somebody, like, if you make your client feel great, they're going to recommend you no matter what, not even if they post a selfie of them on their Instagram story and things like that. I just feel like you have to do the best that you can and be as professional as possible, because that's something that, at least on the niche of the brow industry, we have to work a little more on that, because I feel like brows in the aesthetic world, it's been seen as a quick service, like a quick add-on. Hey, I'll do your facial for this much and I'll do your brows for free, like if you do it, like things like that. So I feel like if you want to be successful in the brow world, you have to show yourself as this professional that you know what you're talking about, and actually take classes or like courses to learn more about the craft and position yourself as a leader in the industry, because it's so easy for people, clients and other professionals, to overlook at you and say, yeah, she just does brows.
Yeah. I think also too, like how you identify yourself. Like I see a lot of estheticians that they do different things, but they're not like identifying themselves as like the brow artist and this is exactly what I specialize in, right? Like people go to you because they know you're the best at what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I just feel like you just have to be like fall in love with the transformation, because it's all about that. Like for example, like you do facials, and I could do a facial too, but people will probably go to you because you offer, like, you show the transformation. Maybe somebody that had a lot of acne to not having anything at all, and then you start to notice like, hey, this is what I want to specialize in the facial world. It's the same thing with brows. Maybe you do eyebrows, and brow shaping might not be like something that excites you, but is it brow lamination? Is it PMU? Like what is it? And try to find that niche within the brow world and fall in love with it and perfect it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, it's if you can identify yourself in that specific part of the industry, then it's gonna be hard for you to be successful, because you're gonna feel like you're all over the place, or you're gonna be thinking that, like, you're gonna feel lost. Like, what exactly is it that I'm pursuing? You're gonna start thinking about services like literally cash, instead of just like enjoying the process and offering your client a true transformation.
So looking back at like where you started, I don't know if you remember what your mindset was like back then, but like what are the mindset shifts that you think attributed from being like a studio owner to now having a brow empire?
Wow, that's a deep question. It honestly, it takes a lot of everything, emotional. Like it's not, to me, it's not only the mindset. That's where you start, right? But then you know that you have to be disciplined. You know that you have to be consistent. Like, these things. It's everywhere. Where you scroll on your phone, on TV, everywhere. But the fact that you have to get up every day and take action, even if you don't feel like it, that's also like another part of that mindset process that you have to work on. Same thing, it comes with, okay, I already took action. Something didn't come out right. Now, emotionally, I'm hurt. I want to throw the towel and just end this, So I just feel like it's just a combination of different aspects in your life. I feel like I've personally grown so much spiritually, mentally, emotionally, everywhere. It hasn't been easy. It's been the biggest school, if you will, that I've been to, because it's like owning a business it's not easy, but you learn a lot about yourself, about others, because when you are a leader, like for example in my team, that I have a team of 7, you have to have the right mindset and the emotional intelligence to overcome some challenges, because you cannot be all like 100% yourself all the time. Because let's say for example you work for me and you're going through like a rough path, or you're not performing well or something, I have to leave my pride on the side and just come and put myself in your shoes to see how I can help you. So some people that they dream about having the salon or this big med spa or something, I feel like they lack that, or they didn't realize that they have to work on that mentality in order to have a successful team or successful business. Because at the end of the day, a successful business, it's because you have a successful team. And for you to have a successful team, then you have to be very aware of how you perform and how you behave with others.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we think as business owners, like, what can this team member give to me? Like, what value are they bringing in? Which is obviously important, but it's also like, how can you invest in them and make sure they're like the best they can be? Because they're learning from you.
Right.
And they're following you and you're like their role model, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you've developed your signature brow shaping technique using multiple methods tailored to each client's facial structure. How did you create that method, and what role has ongoing education played in perfecting it?
So, I mean, you just said it at the end of the question. It's like education, it's everything. I feel like if you don't invest in education, that sometimes it can be costly. Because, I mean, like I said, if you want to take brow serious, you have to take serious courses. You're not going to take just an online class and just, thinking that you're going to have a successful business just because of that. I mean, that could be the starting point, but it doesn't mean that with that one course, you're going to learn everything that you need to know. So I feel like investing in education, in good education is one. Invest in the people that you look up to. That's very important too, because you can pick their brain and you're generally going to appreciate their knowledge. I know that if you go and buy the cheapest course just because it's convenient and you don't even know who the instructor is, you don't have like a deep connection with that person, whatever value they want to like project to you, you might not even like take it serious or even like stamp it in your brain, because it's like to you, that's like a stranger telling you, oh, do A, B, and C. But if you really invest in somebody that you admire and then you really like look up to, then that's gonna be a whole different story. Those classes with those people, they might be a little more pricey, but you're paying for the experience. You're paying for many years of like trial and error that person did for you not to go through the same path. It's like there's a lot of things that people don't see, and I have learned this myself as a student and also as a trainer. And yeah, personally, I have taken many classes, and I have developed my signature look just because I have grabbed a little bit of everything that I've learned throughout these years with all these masters, all these classes that I've taken, and I have developed my own. Because I feel like every phase like speaks to me, right? Like I feel like the fact that I do waxing, threading, tweezing, tinting, and all that stuff, it's for me to have the arsenal of tools to create a personalized job, if that makes sense. Like it's very like customized. It's very tailored. That's the word.
Yeah.
It's very tailored to that person instead of just being like a stencil or something like that. So I feel like all those years of investing in education has helped me to get to where I am as far as my craft. Just because of that, I just practice and I feel like practicing every technique that I've learned and make it in my own has, catapulted my business to where it is.
Yeah. I feel like that's where the artistry comes in. Like at first, when we follow like specific protocols, we're just following things by the book, but then we develop our own artistry when we can take things from other people or from other classes and just intuitively, right? Like see something, even with the skin. It's like you're able to use different ingredients from different brands. In the beginning, it's like, stick to the protocols, but eventually over time, you become confident.
No, but like you said, for example, for facials, because I know a lot of people that they watch you, they do facials. Yeah, it's like, let's say I want to work with Face Reality. They'll give me a protocol to follow, A, B, C, and D, whatever. But then if I actually learn about the ingredients, then I don't have to stick to one product line to perform a good service. Or maybe I can skip this product today on this specific client because I know that her skin might be more reactive, because I understand ingredient. You know what I mean? It goes beyond the actual technical part. It's more about the knowledge part of everything, single thing that you do in the service. So I feel like if you truly have a passion for what you do, you are going to be eager to understand these things. Because myself, I went to sleep last night at 5 a.m. just learning about.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
You look so refreshed.
Thank you. It's a concealer. Yeah, because I took a rabbit hole on the internet just learning about stuff, And it's not like I don't know how to do eyebrows. It's not like I don't know how to run a business. It's just I love what I do so much that I want to keep myself relevant. And for that, I have to keep learning new things. So
no, if you didn't love it, you wouldn't be up till 5 a.m.
You know how easy, sometimes I miss just clocking in and clocking out. I'm not going to lie.
So like, what would you say to people, because there are some people that I think that they want to get into brows, maybe for the money, but maybe the passion isn't there, what would you say to those people?
Wow, that's a tough one because I actually recently had a conversation like that, and I didn't know how to put it in words because I feel like that's very personal. If you know that you don't have a passion for the beauty industry and you're just doing it for the money because you know it's lucrative, I just feel like you're never truly going to be happy, to be honest with you. And you're never going to maybe give your best. You're going to be doubting yourself in every single service. Your clients are going to see, this is going to be funny, but I compare clients to dogs. Right?
To what?
Dogs, like the dogs.
Oh, dogs. Yeah. They said dust. I was like, oh no.
Do you know, like when you're a kid, they tell you, oh, if they can smell when you're like afraid or something. Clients do the same thing. Like if you're not sure about what you're doing, you could have the best products, you could look put together, but if you're afraid or you're not sure about what you're doing, they're gonna smell it like this. You can have, like I said, you can have all the check boxes, the look, everything is clean, all of that. But if you're not sure about what you're doing, you don't have the passion, they're gonna smell it and they're gonna be nightmares.
Yeah.
They're gonna doubt everything that you do. Those are the ones that follow you with a mirror everywhere. It's like you don't want those clients. For that, if you have that constantly, then I'm gonna ask you to really reevaluate if this is something that you love to do. Or if you do, then maybe you don't have the tools yet to be to where you need to be. Maybe you need to take a mentorship call with somebody that you admire. Maybe you need to take a little bit of a break and restructure everything, set up systems and protocols. Like you need to figure something out for you to be at ease when you're at work. Because at the end of the day, it's art, but it also takes a lot of technical effort and mental effort for you to perform at your best during the service.
Yeah, I think so too. Like you had said earlier, like picking a mentor or like someone to learn from that you actually believe in or you actually like. Because if you don't, then you're not probably going to follow what they're saying to a T because there's like a lack of trust. So I always tell people like, pick someone that you vibe with, that you feel like they're kind of like you, where you can be them maybe like a year from now, 5 years from now, depending on how, successful they are or whatever, but you can see yourself in them and then follow what they tell you to a T. Like people invest in courses and mentorship programs and stuff, and then they don't like follow what they're telling them to do. And I'm like, you're wasting your money.
I mean, it's yes, but it's also hard to take action because it's intimidating.
Yeah,
to
it's all
take
a
action,
confidence thing.
Yeah, no, not only that, to take action, as you know, it takes a lot of guts because you know that for you to go from A to B, it's not that easy. If not, everybody will be doing that. It's about taking action. And when you take that action, you're going to be super uncomfortable. It's not going to be cute. You're not going to feel okay about yourself. You're going to doubt yourself every single minute of the day. But then if you really want to pursue to like get to be, then you have to do what you got to do. And that happens to me until this day. There's moments where I feel like super uncomfortable. I have to have awkward conversations. I have to make tough decisions. But then I know that awkwardness or that feeling of being uncomfortable, it's needed for me to get to the next level. Because on the next situation that I have similar to this, I'm not gonna feel so emotionally affected. You know what I mean? Because I already went through it. I didn't die. I've survived. Okay, let's just do it again.
Yeah, you're like more familiar with it. You're basically teaching your body how to be comfortable in those instances.
Right. So if you're going to invest in a mentor, which they're not cheap because now this is different than a class. You're picking their brain and they've been through so many things, so many ups and downs that to me that weights way more value than an eyebrow class or a facial class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So invest in a good mentor, exactly like you said, that you vibe with, that you look up to that person, maybe because they have a successful business or maybe they're retired, because that could be a possibility too, but they did so much throughout their career that you want to pick their brains about something specific. And then if you feel overwhelmed about taking action, just know that's normal. That's how you're supposed to feel. But then you should use that as fuel to take yourself to the next level. If you feel like it's hard for you to take action, then going back to the previous question, then think about if this is really for you.
Yeah. You can tell like everything that you're speaking from is experience and wisdom.
Thank you.
I can for sure tell. Which you kind of just talked about this a little bit, about coexisting with fear and using it as fuel. Could you share a specific moment when that fear almost held you back and how you pushed through it?
Every day. Every single day of my existence. I mean, it's hard. Like sometimes, last night when I was up until 5 a.m, I'm like, how am I alive? like, what am I doing? It's just I'm a very curious person. So I feel like that part, it's heavier than the actual fear, but the fear is still there. Like she doesn't never leave my side.
Yeah.
She's always there. I mean, a specific situation, yeah, every day. Like this month, only on Browaholic Cosmetics, I have to spend like almost 30K on inventory, and that's a big risk. For example, like nobody, like almost that's a lot of money, like, and you don't know if you're gonna like get rid of the inventory or stuff like that, or maybe you had to have an awkward conversation with one of your team mates and to see like to help them with something or make a tough decision. I mean, it's there every day. It's there every day. Or maybe you're a mom like me, and you also run a business. That's also something that you fear that you're not gonna be present for your kids if you spend more time in the business and vice versa. So it's like fear is there every day. You just have to make a decision of what's like the priority at the moment and then go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always read that like you will receive in life what your nervous system is comfortable with. Obviously, it's like we're never 100% comfortable, so we have to like practice the muscle and just familiarize your body and yourself with that next step. I feel like I see a lot of people that are like, they'll use the word imposter syndrome and then they'll just be like, I have imposter syndrome, and they focus so much on I have imposter syndrome. How do I get over this and stuff like that? When it's like, okay, don't dwell on it too much. We all in some shape or form have imposter syndrome. You kind of have to like fake it.
I mean,
and do
like,
it anyways.
What you're saying, it's so true. It's like, yeah, you know that you have ADHD, you know that you have imposters. Like we all have this. I just feel like you don't have to be like medically like diagnosed for you to say, hey, I have this. Great, you have it. Then what? What are you gonna do about it? Just be a victim and just not do anything because you have A and B? Like, no. It's like you said, don't focus so much about it and just focus on taking action. At the same time, I feel like you also need to go with the pace that your body allows you to go with, because I feel like sometimes, and I'm talking about myself, we live in such a fast-paced world that you want to do so many things at the same time, and you're just one person with one brain and two hands. Prioritize. I've learned that recently, like I have to prioritize, not to fill up my to-do list with so much like ideas. They're great. I appreciate my creativity. I love it, but it's not physically possible to do everything that I want to do. In one moment, I'll do it. Maybe I will never do it. I'm just grateful that I have the idea. And if I can share that idea with somebody that can actually perform it, great. But I mean, like you said, you can't put yourself in a box or in a label just because were diagnosed with this or that. It's like that, to me, that's just limiting yourself to your max potential. Because it's like you're limiting to this because some book or doctor told you not to do something. That's BS, you know?
And I think there's so many tools. Like I don't know if you heard of it, emotional freedom tapping technique.
No.
It's like you'll like tap on certain belief systems and stuff like that. So it starts to get your body comfortable. There's a science behind it. I don't know what it is, but it gets your body comfortable with the new beliefs that you're telling yourself. So there's like techniques and things that you can do while taking action so you can calm yourself down.
But I mean, that makes total sense. They just put a cute scientifically name to it, but that's just common sense. For you to get to that point, you have to be very aware to what you feel and what you're thinking. Because sometimes we live, again, in such a fast-paced world that, you're thinking 1,000 miles per hour, but you're not stopping to dissect every thought. So you have to quiet all of that and just select the ones that are important right now and internalize how you feel about that thought. Is that giving you anxiety? Is that making you emotional? Is that getting you excited? And then based on that feeling, then you know how you proceed. But if you don't have emotional intelligence and you're not like tapping when you're like with your thoughts or your emotions, you're never going to be able to get out of that.
You're like consumed by it and you're not observing yourself.
You have to be so like awake, like so aware of like how, like what you're feeling, what you think, because if not, it's gonna be hard for you to make decisions.
So you launched both online and one-on-one Browaholics trainings with certificates, live models, giveaways. What gaps did you see in brow education that motivated you to create the BWH Academy?
Love this. So one of the things was that when I was starting, the information out there was very superficial. There was not like in-depth training when it came to brows, because again, most of these people that were doing brows as as an add-on on their menu, right? Very few people, they were just doing trainings focusing just on like the actual brow. So that's where I saw the opportunity to bring my own and create something more in depth. And my trainings or my mentorships, we barely talk about brows, because I feel like if it's like hiring somebody. If I hire you, I'm not going to hire you only because of your skills, but also what you have here, because that means that like you're going to grow no matter what, because I can teach you how to do brows with my eyes closed, but if you don't have it in you, I can't do anything about it. So it's the same thing. Like when I was taking these classes, I'm like, yeah, they're teaching me how to do brows, but how do I do the rest? How do I run a business? How do I hire somebody? How do I keep my team motivated? How do I keep myself motivated? How do I under inventory? How do I set up budgets? Like all these stuff. So this is what I talk about in my classes. I want them to be as complete as possible for them to like go to the real world and say, okay, yeah, Barbie told me about this. I already know how to navigate through this specific scenario. Because at the end of the day, owning a business is not easy. And yeah, I mean, you can go to college for that and business management and all that stuff, take a class here and there. But the beauty industry is so particular. I feel like you need a mentor in the beauty industry to guide you through the ups and downs, because I mean, here we are. I mean, we made it through without no education, and we had to pay. I have personally have to pay mentors that have nothing to do with the beauty industry to learn how the heck I had to run a business, because nobody in the beauty industry knows how to run a business.
Yeah.
Not very few people. I'm not gonna say nobody, but very few people know. They are amazing at their craft. That was including me a few years ago, and I'm still learning and perfecting all my systems and protocols, because I'm not there yet. But I'm failing for my students. So when they are ready to take the step to hire somebody or expand or whatever, I already know like what to tell them, because I already like messed up for them and tell them, hey, do this instead of that.
Yeah.
You know?
But I feel like that's really like beautiful, because there's a lot of people who will be successful and then they'll kind of like gatekeep, or they won't have like the heart to give back to people that were once, you were in their shoes and stuff like that. So like what motivates you to help others?
I love
Newbies in
these
the
questions.
esthetician?
My 2 cents is that the people that are gatekeep is because they don't know.
Oh, really?
Because that was
They're
me.
faking it?
I don't think you necessarily have to fake it, because I'm not gonna go on my stories today and say, yeah, I don't have money to pay rent today for my business. You know what I mean? It's like that's that's not anyone's business, but it's more like they're just as lost as you are. They just had a little more luck than you, or they know how to market themselves a little better. Because you could be great at doing facials, but if you don't market yourself, somebody that has way less skills than you, it has 100K followers and a full book full of clients, just because they're marketing better themselves. You know what I mean? It's like it's just like it's like a chain. But in my opinion, a lot of these people that they have this successful business, and I've seen it so many times, they also don't have idea what they're doing. And I'm not saying it to judge, because I'm also learning, but I just feel like we just need a little. First of all, those people, they need to be a little more real to their audience, because they need to know that it's normal to go through those things. But also, second, admit that they also need a mentor, even on the point that they are in their careers.
Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, if you're hiring a team or something and you are like all over the place, whenever they're going to go solo, they have you as an example, and they're also going to mess up. And we see this happening all the time in Facebook groups, posting anonymously, hey guys, I have 1099 employees and I have this, like, what do I do? Like, there's people that are still wondering, and they've been in their industry for 20 years and they still don't know what to do, because the lack of, I guess, financial education or business education is still not there yet. And I'm not saying that my training, it's like super complete. I'll give you the blueprint, but I'll tell you a lot of like the things that I've learned, and that it's going to just get you ready for what it's the next level for you.
Yeah. I love it. When I like am picking a mentor, I always look at like authenticity, and I like it when mentors are kind of like, they don't sugarcoat it, and they're like, it's actually really hard and these are the headaches you're gonna have. Because I feel like some mentors do other estheticians like a disservice because they're like, okay, you can make like 7 figures. This is like your roadmap to making 7 figures.
They make 7 figures, but after expensive, do you still have 7 figures? I want to see the books.
Exactly.
The books, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's easy for you to sell smoke and have a social media agency to run your ads and all that stuff and sell, dress yourself pretty and have the expensive bags, the cars and stuff like that. If that's how you're promoting your brand, I don't know. But are you actually your numbers are actually there? Like, somebody that knows how to run their business, they're gonna be wondering that. Somebody that doesn't know how to run their business, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, I want to make 7 figures too," and then they're gonna be freaking lost and overwhelmed because they don't know how to take action with structure. They're gonna give you tips that you can find on Google, but they're not going to be like, they're not gonna sit down with you and say, "Hey Sam, okay, let me see your numbers. What are the costs per service? Okay, how much does it cost you to stay open? How much are you paying in commission? Are you like all that stuff? Are they really doing that for you? Because if they don't, they just go on Google.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking a little bit more about the future of the brow industry. So you mentioned trends. Okay, actually, I think you mentioned this when I was like researching you. Trends leaning towards natural, thick, feathered brows. How do you see the brow bar concept evolving over the next few years, especially in terms of services, technology, and client preferences?
So I feel like we're leaning towards more like services that are more personalized versus just one like cookie cutter, there's a lot of classes about how to do brow mapping and all that stuff, but I feel like even with that, they're still leading you to do the same brow mapping in all of your clients, although they're taking their facial features in consideration. If you don't have, like I said, an arsenal of tools for you to rely on, then it's going to be difficult for you to offer that experience. What I mean is that, for example, let's say when I was starting doing eyebrows, I learned how to wax and not thread. Back in the day, people were not that big on using active ingredients in their skincare routine. People were not paying attention to any of that. Nowadays, it's a whole different story. I feel like I have to have more knowledge in skincare products and product lines versus, back in the day. So for me to know that, I have to have a passion in the industry, and those things sometimes no, they don't include that in those brow trainings. They don't include a model that they talk about skin conditions. I mean, they do, but it's like 2 pages. Oh yeah, if you have eczema, don't do this. If you're using retinol, don't do this. But they don't talk about like actual stuff that it's like out there in the real world. There's people doing crazy cocktails on their faces, like doing like skin cycling and all that stuff. They're doing IVF, like even little things like that, or they just put a vaccine, like even little things like that, they affect the skin for when it comes to a wax service. So if somebody cannot wax their brows, then you should be able to do either tweezing or threading. Now, tweezing is going to take forever. So if you know your numbers for your salon, I would rather you to do threading because it's faster, and not in the sense of like express, but like you're still on top of your numbers. I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly.
No, you are, yeah.
So it's like you have to have in hand all these tools to know exactly how to perform a service. It's like a hairstylist.
Yeah.
They have 1,000 hair dyes in the back bar, different techniques and all that stuff. So when a client comes, it's not like I'm gonna do a balayage on everyone. I'm gonna do a balayage, but the application is gonna be different because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, like you can never not treat a client because of something that they come with, or
right. And then exactly. And when, let's say, most of my clients, they come to do a brow wax because that's like the standard service. But then during my diagnose or my consultation, I tell them, hey, you can do waxing because X, Y, and Z, but I think we should do threading because of that. So they appreciate the education that they're also receiving in the chair versus just me saying, hey, yeah, I cannot take it today.
Yeah.
Or, yes, I'm going to do your brows, and then they're just walking around with a scab on their eyes,
That happened to me like a few months ago.
On a client, or you happened to you?
Oh, I don't do brows on clients, but it happened to me.
Okay.
I had like burned here and here because of the skincare I was using.
And you did it yourself, or you went somewhere else?
I went somewhere.
And did they ask you for using something? There you go.
No,
so you don't know what you don't know.
But now I know. So now when I go anywhere, just like if she would have told me, if I would have gone anywhere else, I would have known too if they didn't ask me.
Well, claro. Yeah, so, now you know because you were walking around like Freddy Krueger everywhere, and you're like, okay, did I miss something here? But if you're a brow artist, I'm not saying it's her fault. It's more like, she should update her knowledge or improve her protocol, because you can easily, I don't know your relationship with her, but you could easily say, I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
And without even noticing she lost a client. And to bring a new client to your church is more costly than retaining a client, which is a whole different story. But it's like those are after you learn the game, all these things you're gonna take in consideration when you have a client in your chair in a matter of seconds. It takes time for you to get there, but yeah, after you understand all of that, you're going to appreciate a client even more, and you're going to make sure to ask the right questions, because that's gonna save you a headache in the long run.
What would you say is the single most important mindset shift or practical action that turned your brow hobby into a full-blown career?
The most practical mindset?
Yeah, shift.
Yeah, just talk to myself every day that I have to trust in myself. Like I already know by this time that whenever I don't want to do something is when I have to do it the most. That's what I have learned.
Oh, for sure, in everything.
It's like I know I'm going to cry. I even have my own mentor. He's a guy. I cry with him. It's like I'm talking to a dad, and and it's so funny because I'm like, this is like my spiritual slap of the day, because it's like I know I have to do some things that they are going to make me uncomfortable, and that cry, it's because it's something that I do when I'm about to face something bigger than me, but I'm just here with my shield and sword, like, okay, let's just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and I refuse to leave this world and not being able to say, okay, I didn't experience that. So even if it fails, even if there's like a big risk, in there, I want to take the risk. Like I need to, because I'm curious. I need to know why do I have that thought in my head? Like constantly. Is it God or the universe? I don't know if you guys believe in whoever you guys believe, but I feel like if you have this constant thought that you have to do something, I feel like you just have to experience it, even if you fail.
Yeah, it's like I always say, it's like a seed that's been planted within you.
For some reason, you have it. If you can stop thinking about it, because there's ideas, right? And I have ideas that I write down on my notes, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, but that's it's nice, but I don't want to pursue it. I just feel like it's a waste of time. But then I look at other ones, and they've been there for years, but I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm like, okay, at one point in my life, I have to face it, because I refuse to say that I regretted not being able to experience that.
Yeah.
So it's like, write down your ideas, Also, don't fall for social pressure. Like, if you don't, I feel like everyone is telling you to be your own boss. Great. I mean, you deserve that. Good for you. I approve. But there's people, we have to understand that there's people, they just want to be calm. Like, they don't want to have that pressure of like being responsible for a team, because that's difficult. They don't want to be responsible for setting up the prices, or dealing with permits, or the city, or insurance and workers' comp and all that stuff. And that's okay. It's like, don't fall for social pressure of like doing something that you don't really feel like you're prepared to do, or something that you don't really want to do.
Yeah. Like, people think, oh, that's like the standard for being successful, but you can be successful like working under someone else, and that could be your standard. That's what makes you happy.
I was just having that conversation the other day, and I said, listen, can you imagine if I was not doing eyebrows, but I was a chef, right? And I studied in France and did all this stuff, these competitions and stuff, and then do you think I'm gonna like die and say I was a failure as a chef because I never had my restaurant while I was working in a Michelin star restaurant? You know what I mean? It's like, I already accomplished other stuff by working for somebody. That doesn't mean that I'm a failure. That doesn't mean that I'm not accomplished big stuff. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's so overwhelming nowadays, because you're getting bombarded about this narrative everywhere you scroll and look around. Like, make 7 figures. This is how much I made today as an esthetician. This is how much they, whatever. It's great for you. You can also make that. Like, take advantage of the fact that they're paying you commission in a salon. And most salons, they pay you commission, or spas. When you're earning in commission, you don't have a cap. The only cap that you have is time. And that is if you work part-time, or if you work like 3 hours a day. Other than that, if you work full-time and they allow you to take clients as early as 8 in the morning and leave at 7 p.m. And you're happy like that, upsell your service and your services to your clients, and you're going to see that you're going to have a big check too. Doesn't matter. You don't have to deal with permits, none of that.
Yeah, which is nice. I've even heard, like, I think I watched a TikTok the other day where the girl was saying, like, my girls, like, that work for her, they're like, they make more money than me because there's so much that goes, well, she just started, but there's so much that goes into the business itself. So sometimes it's actually, like, depending on your personal goals, it's better if you are an employee, like, if that's what works for you. It's like your personal goals.
Because when you're a salon owner, I'm not saying that you don't make money. It just takes, the pace is a little slower. If you're working in a suite, then your overhead is not that much and you can charge, I don't know, $200 for a facial. But then when you have a storefront, that's different because, no matter what, on every 15 days, you got to pay your staff.
Yeah.
And then whatever money is left, you have to use for your overheads, and whatever is left, you pay yourself, or vice versa. There's people that they read the book Profit First, and they pay themselves, and then whatever it's left, it's the overheads. However you do it, the point is that you don't earn that much money as in a fast paced. What makes you the most money? Trainings, online, like in e-commerce, like things like that, because you're reaching masses. But when it comes to the salon, like a service based business, you make money, but in a slower pace. And I mean, your employees are going to make way more money than you at first because they just have to clock in and clock out and make sure they upsell, they get tipped, they promote products and services, and it's beautiful. But when you own a business, you're not taking in consideration the other stuff that you have to pay for. So a lot of that money goes into reinvesting in the business.
Yeah. I feel like the Barbie from like years ago,
she had no idea.
She'd be listening to the podcast and she'd be like, wow, you know so much. That's crazy.
She's like, shoot, I just opened their throat. I'm like, stay there a little bit more.
She's like, I don't know. Do we like, I'm just kidding. Do we
like yeah, I know.
No, I know there's so much work that goes into it, but it's worth it. Like you seem to be so passionate.
It's beautiful because it's like I've learned so much about myself. Like even talking about this, it amazes me. Like I'm talking, I'm like, damn, I just know so much because it's like I have messed up so much, you know, and not everyone wants the success and the glory, but they don't. They're scared of the failure, and that is just part of the process. And when you fail, it feels horrible. You feel like you want to be in bed for a whole week. You doubt yourself. You stay up really late at night just with anxiety of like, is this like something that I really want to pursue? But then if you are prepared and you're really passionate, like I said, everything goes back to that. If you're passionate and curious about what you do, you're going to figure it out. If you don't, then it's going to be easier for you to quit. Also, don't spend money that you don't have. I want to say that to everyone. Don't spend money that you don't have. Don't ask for loans. Don't ask for the credit card. If you don't have the money, then you're not ready for it. I'm telling you. That's just going to give you so much stress. That's my 2 cents.
I agree with that one too, because I've been there and it does. Because I always say, some people will disagree and they'll be like, no, like you do it now. But like, I actually think I'm so big on like nervous system regulation and just like you have to be at least feel somewhat safe. You can't completely throw yourself into survival mode. And sometimes when you do that and you are paying for things that you can't afford or like putting yourself too much into debt, your anxiety is going to be too big for you to be in the state of like receiving and, you know?
100%. Imagine that I have to, like, I'm doing a facial and I have to think that all this money that I'm doing right now is just going to go to a loan that they're charging me crazy amount of interest. You know, just don't. It's like you said, yes, go for it. If you have the idea, you can stop thinking about it. Yeah, just do it. But at the same time, you need to be also realistic that we can just be savages and just ask for bank loans and then go fall for bankruptcy and then just start working again in a 9 to 5. Well, that check is also still paying for that loan that you have. It's like it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You don't
need to completely quit your job and go after something. Like you can have a part-time.
You can, but you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. Whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, whether it's like a whole business plan. It's like when somebody starts like a startup, like an actual app or something like that, they just don't go and say, okay, well, my app is going to be called Uber Eats and we're going to deliver food. Okay, great. And then when they actually need to launch the app, they realize that there's so much like in the back end that they had to invest that costs a lot of money. So when you get to that point, that's when you realize, damn, I wasn't ready. Now you have people that depends on your decisions. Like when you have a team, every decision that you make impacts them. So if you're not ready, then you're going to impact their livelihood too. Because they have families, they have boyfriends, a dog, a cat, or whatever that they had to also like help. So it's like you can't just be, again, like a savage and just ask for money. Like, no, if you're not ready for it, don't do it. I'm telling you, your moment will come. And in that time, you can also give it time to rethink on this idea that if you really want to go solo. Because it's like you said, if your nervous system doesn't feel regulated because you feel like overwhelmed or whatever, it doesn't feel right, you feel lost, then stay where you are. You're not, if they're mistreating you at work, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But if you're in a good culture, if you have your consistent clients, and if you have a good schedule and all that stuff, then why would you leave? You know what I mean? If you feel like you're not ready, I'm putting in that scenario. I'm not telling you to be an employee your whole life, but if you feel like I just hate saying the word employee because they just have put so much like a negative connotation to it that I just feel like me saying that people are probably judging me like, oh, she doesn't want me to succeed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to say that I don't want you to feel like a failure if you don't end up pursuing that, because that's not for everyone. Yeah. And it's been like that since the beginning of times.
Yeah. Okay. What is in the future for Browaholics?
I don't know. I just right now I'm focusing a lot on Browaholic Cosmetics. I feel like that's like a little gem that I have there that I haven't been paying that much attention, and I feel like it came my moment to dedicate a little more time to that. I love the virtual world, like how the shopping experience have changed or evolved, and I feel like I want to, again, I'm curious to know how Browaholic Cosmetics can fit into that world, into like the TikTok shops or like stuff like that. Like, could that work? If it doesn't work, I mean, great, that's fine. But I feel like I need to give that a test and see how it works. Because I feel like I love my products. They're amazing. If you haven't tried them, I encourage you to do it. Have it on your shelf in your brow studio because they're amazing. They're going to sell super fast. But I feel like that's something that I want to pursue. I have done services for so long already that I still love it. But I feel like I love the interactions that I have with my client more than the actual craft. So I'm like this. I have this in me that if I'm doing something for too long, I get bored, but I don't want to quit on Browaholics. So I always find a way on like still be part of Browaholics, but do something new. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
Yeah, no, because then you get bored, you feel
I
stuck.
want to keep myself excited. But
I feel like you're also giving back to the industry itself. You're
every
elevating
way.
The industry
in every way. In every way. It doesn't matter if I stay behind the chair, if I sell products, if I go to trade shows, if I do conference, podcasts, like that's the purpose that I have in life. It's just to give back to the community, whether it's the industry or whether it's clients or somebody that is still thinking about like coming to this side of the world, whatever. But it's, you have to live with purpose. And then after you are in tune with that purpose, then whatever you do around that, it's just going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be easier for you to pursue.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all the gems that you
Thank
shared
you for
with
having
us
me.
today. So Barbie is actually going to be one of our conference speakers in Fort Lauderdale. She's going to be speaking October 19th at 3:30, and she's going to be talking about how
how about time and everything? I didn't know about this.
Yes, you have a time. She's going to be talking about like how to take this from a hobby into a brow empire. And there, like after listening to this podcast, you guys come with questions and you can ask her all the questions that you have.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, she answers them really well. Where can our listeners find you on social media and your website?
So on all the platforms, you guys can find me on Browaholics. That's YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram. And for the product line, it's BWH Cosmetics on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay. We'll put that all in the show notes. Alrighty. Bye, guys.